Hey guys, it's Viewmaster's Reaction, and we're back with some more Critical Role before I do the live stream today, which will then be followed by me watching the 3 newest episodes of The Legend of Vox Machina. I guess for the near future, or maybe distant future, I will start using Thursdays as Critical Role / Vox Machina content, because this is going to be going as a show for the next 3 weeks, and then I gotta finish doing Undeadwood, and after that I will probably start doing either Campaign 1 or Campaign 2. I've not decided yet, but I will easily be able to do Campaign 1. People are saying it doesn't get spoilery till episode 20. However, if I do Campaign 1, it will probably spoil future episodes of The Legend of Vox Machina. So maybe the safest bet would be to do Campaign 2 or Campaign 3. I know Campaign 3 isn't that far in, and it would make more sense for me to do Campaign 2 since I've never experienced any of it before, but we're going to talk about that later. All I want to remind you guys before we jump into this is we will be doing a live stream at 5 p.m. today, Eastern Time, my time. I live in New Jersey, United States. 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be finishing part 1 of Undeadwood live on stream. It's a watch along, so you'll have to put your own up and sync it up with mine. I'll do like a 1, 2, 3 countdown, and we can watch along. I don't want to throw all those up in parts because it would take forever, and I figure it's a good way to interact with you guys, do a live stream for something. I figure I'll try it with Undeadwood. If it seems to work out and we do something like a Campaign 2, we'll keep going like that. And I also know that Critical Role does their things on Thursdays at 7. I'll do mine at 5. I'll end it around 6:30, 7 o'clock, right before they start. I just want you guys to be able to enjoy both as fans. So I'm not going to put things up at the same time. That'd be silly. But I feel like since Vox Machina is coming out on Thursdays at 7, that's perfect. Because I can stop doing a live stream, jump into that, edit that up for you guys, get them up on Patreon as soon as I'm done. They go up in full on Patreon as soon as I finish the episodes. Then I start editing them up. I usually do the first episode, then edit the first episode, and then I just run with the other ones and finish them when I can. Last week, I got them all out in the first night. The edits on these are pretty reasonable. There's not a big deal with things. There's a lot with copyright and songs and stuff like that. That's why if you see a lot of songs missing and stuff, songs are the hardest thing to get into the edited versions of YouTube. So you guys want to see more of what I do, full on edited reactions, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, hundreds of exclusives you'll only see on Patreon, link at the end. If not, guys, here we go. This is Critical Role doing a Q&A for episode 1, The Legend of Vox Machina. They just watched it. It was last night, Groundhog's Day.
Partially because I didn't want to embarrass everybody by going in here and just like talking about my D&D campaign. As everyone who's played knows, like talking about your D&D game to your friends that don't care, it's like, oh, I didn't want to be that guy.
Whoever's watching this cares.
But
I'm reacting to it because I care and you care.
But it was, for me, it was just very surreal. It was helpful that I had a lot of these guys with me, so I didn't feel alone in that process. And a lot of
we're missing a lot of people.
A lot of the early meetings are more character.
That guy is the showrunner, producer, director guy.
You know, what their arc was, where their stories were going, what their strengths and abilities were, what their heart and persona was about.
Where's all the ladies?
The transition in the early days were more kind of a group effort, getting everyone in the writer's room up to speed with the
and Liam's missing. Oh, and Taliesin.
Digging into the story and the world. That was a little more complicated.
Taliesin. I call him Taliesin. Maybe I'm right. I don't know.
A very wild experience, partially when people began to really engage with it and then show how talented they were in a writer's room to like make it even better. So yeah, it was really cool.
And I'm sure that must be an interesting experience, knowing where the story is going to end already, but having to go back to the beginning. As we can see in episode 1, there's some hints to some romances that may happen. There's some Easter eggs for people that may
Scanlan and Pike.
Campaign 1. How was that process, making sure that it wasn't too heavy-handed, but since you can kind of not so much retcon, but inform earlier on?
Well, it's a challenge when, like, to use that as an example, when a romance develops over, many hours of gameplay, but then you have to convey that same arc in a shorter period of time. You want to make sure that it doesn't feel forced, but it still has a natural speed to where when the beats
they had like a lifetime to actually like make these relationships in their campaign.
Truncate these different periods of time, but still feel natural and still be a believable pace as they go forward. And so it was a lot of conversations about that as they went.
Yeah, it's true. If you really break down some of the story arcs that go over the season or seasons. Like some of the romance.
I'm wondering if like next week they're gonna do all the ladies It's just
how long
interesting that it's
we
all the
spend on
dudes.
those on screen. It's like 7 minutes over the course of the season.
Yeah.
So you really have to like pack it in and be efficient with what you're going to show and what you're going to leave out. And
He looks like he's
but like I
tearing
was
up
saying,
or
the writers that,
cried or something. He looks very.
came on board really treated
looks
everything
bedazzled,
so seriously, and
let's say.
they did research on the characters, and even the ones who didn't know anything about Critical Role came into the first meetings like knowing a lot about the characters and treating them like real characters. which
I
think they
say
are.
this all the time, but I feel like he is really like Scanlan in the sense of like
Just like the,
the
non-main characters.
charisma,
Like, for me, one of the
but
most
it's like
exciting parts
almost
of the movie is
unintentional,
some of these NPCs
seemingly.
that maybe didn't have as large of an involvement in the main story.
In his
They
case, in
wanted
real
to be
life.
some rock
In
agents
Scanlan's
and
case,
players
it's
who were
intentional.
Playing the game, it's their game. But now that we're telling the story in different media, we get to bring some of these NPCs and make them cooler. You know, elevate their involvement in the story, change them to make more sense within the short form narrative, and make them just more interesting and fun to follow. So it was kind of cool to revisit a lot of these characters and have all these people help.
I mean,
make
yeah,
them
that's
better,
pretty awesome. You
know,
could take
part of
all
the
your
story.
favorites and
Full
throw them
privilege to have
into
to complete
one
this
major
entire
scene.
story over years, and they get to do it again, but feel like you can fix some things.
Like, say
that
you had a
wanted to
dozen
fix.
favorite characters. You just throw them in one episode,
There
make
is-
this
there's no episode, but, like,
amazingly
you're-
awesome
When
episode.
you're improvising a story at a table, there are rough bits. There are things that don't go quite how you hope they would. There are things that I'm like, I could have done that better when I'm in the car driving home afterward. You know, every DM can, commiserate with that. But having the ability to go back and make amends on some of these beats and show different perspectives that aren't just the players.
I mean,
you know,
I would imagine you gotta lose some. You can't win them
We
all.
have some really
I mean,
cool,
even if you're the
progress
most
art
talented
for
ever.
some of the characters that are here today, and I want to start off, Travis, and your
Yo.
character of Grog. Tell us what the process was to put Grog in cartoon form.
In this?
In what he is
Walking
now.
into
Are we gonna
Toontown?
see some of it, or is he just talking here?
The folks at home should be seeing.
Yeah,
No,
awesome.
we get to
No,
see
it was great because.
Oh, the folks that I was like, seeing what?
I had a
This.
beautiful flight with Phil Barassa, incredible character designer, and I said I sent him some reference images for Grog and along with some descriptions.
I
of
mean,
the
I've said it many
scene,
times as
recent
well.
Max stuff
Very
that just blew my
Drax.
mind. Yes. So in particular,
Very God of War.
There's one where Grog's got some dope mutton chops.
Look at the one over
He's
there.
got like a
Yeah.
really cool chin beard. He's got the whole Abe Lincoln thing going on. I particularly like that axe.
I kind of dig the
And
beard
I
look.
mean, he was.
Has he ever had a
He was
beard?
just dead on from the start.
That can't be a
and It was
spoiler.
cool watching him tweak.
I kinda
things
dig the
with
beard.
his expressions, like he,
I mean, you
made
could
his ears little
add a
bit
beard
smaller
at
so
any
that
point,
his
though.
expressive, cute face journeys could.
You
be
guys
more
have only
easily
seen me
recognized,
with a
and we just
beard.
kinda tweaked,
I've
some of his,
only had a
markings and
beard
stuff
since I
because,
started
I think
YouTube. Before
his
YouTube,
original
I used to
design of the
shave,
show
clean
was,
shaven
a
all the
little bit
time.
complicated just around the
So it's
face,
just
and a lot
funny
of
that
what
you
we
guys
had to
only
do
know me
as we looked at
bearded.
Designs was find an economy of art and style so that it's easy to draw, over a length of time. I mean, he's just a big goof, and yeah, incredible.
Typical
His
brute.
tiny ears, personally, they're very adorable. They add to his cuteness.
Phil is amazing.
Serious, like so talented.
He is very like
Sam,
Lenny
would
and
you
George
like to
kind of
explain
like
a little
very
bit of the
humble,
process of
but
Scanlan?
unless he
I
wants to
mean,
kill people.
I don't remember what order some of these. We're going to see a bunch of drawings. They aren't necessarily in order. Like I feel like for Scanlan, we
Too skinny in
we
that
saw
one.
Some stuff that was really good.
I dig
and
the
amazing.
orange, but
And I think
purple's my
we were
favorite
like,
color.
This is great.
Purple is my
Maybe we
favorite.
should just explore a bit.
Yeah.
So I think-
That probably adds
yeah,
to my
so I
love of
think,
Scanlan.
and so
I got my
we,
purple
Phil
Turd
sort of
Ferguson
went-
shirt.
went
I
on
love
a-
this
on
shirt.
an
It's
exploratory
great
journey
fit.
just to show
Feels
us some
nice.
different Other
Good
Scanlans
material.
that might exist.
Watch out, Scanlan.
Yeah, I don't know if the,
He has some ruffian looks in.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't see it on the screen, but if the people are seeing it, yeah, there's some.
I like the
Scanlans
more
that are
stocky
a
looking
little
Scanlan.
more
The one where he's
wild,
lean and
street
very
fiction
skinny
type.
looking.
And
Yeah, the one on the
then
right, he's too
there's-
skinny.
Oh, yeah, they're there.
That
And
one,
there's a version
I
of Scanlan
dig.
who's way
I feel
more
like that's
sort
the
of
one we're
slick
using on the
lounge
left.
lizard type of
Little, maybe
difficult-
he's a little more
Yeah,
rounded,
yeah,
I
it's
feel
way
like,
too
the one we
serious.
use.
That kind of vibe. But I think
Yeah,
we
that like
actually
almost,
kinda
the skinny one
mashed
almost
them
makes him
together
look
a bit and
like
got
evil
a little
almost.
of the cocky wild charm with the slickness, and really dialed in on the chest hair curl.
Yeah, like I dig that. I dig that little add to detail.
As a body hair person myself, I'm happy to see some representation.
You're a body hair person? What does that mean?
I'm a person with body hair.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking the same thing. Are you into Is that a thing?
You know, this is
You're
a
into
focus
body
on
hair?
too, learning a lot
Well,
tonight.
there's subscriptions to everything.
Yeah.
That's very true.
You're right. Now, before we go down a really weird tangent that'll get us kicked off of Twitch.
Fair enough. Good call. Good call.
Brandon, let's,
I wonder if there's a subscription service where you can order body hair.
see, and this is why I interrupted.
I'm sure there
Kept
is.
talking.
We look into
But
that.
I
that's
guarantee you
all
can
right.
find that easy. It's probably on
When we
eBay
first
all
meet
over.
Vox Machina and Iman,
It might not be legit,
we see them
but
getting
who
drunk,
cares,
but
right?
as,
If
such a
you're
good
if you're
first
looking
scene,
for
like I
that,
said
I don't
earlier,
think
it's a
you're
good job of giving the audience a tiny piece of each character and what we're going to be getting from them, but obviously a little bit
executive
of the
producer,
as they are
writer.
incredibly inebriated. So what was that process like, getting to really focus on each one of the Vox Machina?
Well, it was really like collaborating with, the cast, trying to figure out what are the perfect moments to really highlight their character. So, it was just like, we want to establish things about the characters as well, like Vex and Vax are brother and sister, and, Scanlan sings, and he's also, he's also very horny. And, we wanted to just, you have no time to sort of establish everyone quickly.
Right.
So that was sort of the trickiest part, is like we want to introduce all these characters, these fantastic characters, to, not to critters, but to a brand new audience. So that was, very, very tricky, and do it quickly and rapidly, so it's not too tedious or laborious. You really want it to just
I
stay
definitely
very
saw him
quick,
in
just make it
other
happen, get
videos.
to know
He's
everyone,
even dressed like that, I
play
believe.
masks. He's not even participating in the drinking games. It's really just kind of trying to figure out like moments, and you can immediately identify these characters by what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, what's the saying? Drunken words or sober thoughts?
Totally.
I think it's the best way to highlight.
I've heard
everyone
that
in
many
their personality. I
times.
think you guys did a phenomenal job. And the barfing.
And the barfing.
Wonderful.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's on brand for Keyleth. Like, I'm sorry. You look back in the campaign, she's always been that girl at the party.
Oh.
So,
See, that's what I said during the episode. I said I'm shocked she's even a drinker.
Ooh, is she
But
like
she's
an
just
Everclear and a
the girl at the
type of
party.
girl?
You gotta hold her hair back.
Was it low constant? I can't tell. I can't remember what
I
it
think it
was.
was-
It just always ended up coming out.
she's
Poor
just,
girl.
well, she was new to the party scene, I think. Like Pike grew up with Grog. Like, they've been around
Right.
the block a few
That's
times.
right.
They've had drinking
She
games.
got handed
like,
the bottle of Goldschlager and everything
Yeah,
went
yeah.
down from there.
Yeah.
That's very much.
Flex in it.
Yeah, no, that is the Keyleth experience.
You guys speak for personal.
Somebody hands her a cup of jungle juice and they don't tell her it's like 50% Everclear, and
Yep,
then all of a sudden,
yep.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah,
there she goes.
that's not a bad thing to be that person. It means you weren't
No,
a degenerate like me or Grog. I see. That's why I got Grog's shirt. I literally, the first thing I go to is an alcohol-related Grog shirt.
Chat question.
Hi, chat.
Chat wants to know, what was the most challenging part of the process deciding what to keep in the story versus what happened during the campaign on stream?
Oh boy.
The whole process.
All of it.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing was is that
I
we
like
ran an
that you can
inventory in the
slightly
beginning.
hear
Like,
music in the background.
we
I
basically
barely
rewatched
hear it.
all the episodes
So you guys are probably
ourselves
gonna
just to
struggle.
refamiliarize ourselves with anything, and then we just came up with a list of like all of the incredible beats, moments.
What is on his
quests,
arm,
even
forearm?
shopping episode things,
Tattoo?
things
Is that
we
a-
do that we loved or that the audience resonated with? And then we had to go through like the painstaking part of like what goes.
Looks like some
what
kinda
stays, what can we merge? You know,
ancient
we had such a short
language.
runway. We had to be really clever in the way that we set it up, and also we took an opportunity to go like, can we rearrange some of these things? Can we move them
That's
later?
what I was gonna say,
Yeah, and I think that was the fun part though, because it was kind of like bringing everybody's like, collection of baseball cards together, like laying them all on the table, and then like picking your favorite starting lineup.
That's kind of what I was saying in the beginning. Just pick your favorites and
Also,
run
how
with
cool
it.
is it that
You don't gotta wait.
eventually,
There's no
once we go through
downtime.
More seasons, there are going to be people out there that are going to go, well, in the original campaign, this is actually what happened. Like, how cool is it that you're
Yeah.
going to get those reactions? Like when we all went to go see movies based
I
on the
reacted to a
books,
video
and we're
like that.
well, in the
Somebody-
books, this is actually what happened.
Sky
That's so
art?
cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's happening
Just
now.
don't be a dick about it.
No, don't be a dick about it.
For sure.
But you can impress your friends.
But yeah, see, there you go.
Oh yeah, you don't have to be a dick about it, but it's
They should
interesting
know
to
that
know the
we
comparisons.
have
I
set
dig
this up
that
so
stuff.
that it will pay off, far down the line. So everything's done with intention. Nothing's done by accident.
I mean, it's y'all's baby, your collective child that you all birthed. Anyway,
Yes.
next question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is for everyone.
I was there.
I was there.
Creating Iman as a city in the cartoon, there are a few differences between the Iman that folks may know from the campaign versus the one that we saw on our screen. Can you kind of dive into the process
Like
of
what? See,
creating
this
that
I don't
city and
know much
how
about.
we got there today? And look, there it is.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
The
I'll-
tavern.
I'll-
I like how they mark
I'll
the
design
tavern.
team.
It's good to
It
know.
was back and forth with them. where they were fans of the show. They had copies of the original guide, and all the designs are based on the original maps of the city. But once again, when you bring it,
I feel like the inner walls and the way it goes up, I've said it before, reminds me of Lord of the Rings.
Arresting, and they're so good at that. So it was a lot of, you know, the layouts
Minas
fairly
Tirith.
similar to the original maps.
Minas
It's just more
Tirith.
having the chance to show elevation,
Except not on a mountain,
expand
I've
some
said this.
spaces, and just kind of make it more cool for the, you know, the visual medium of animation. But yeah, it was directly working with the design team and just kind of throwing notes back and forth and doing tweaks.
Didn't we pushed the Cloud Top District a little closer to the water, right?
Right, because it made more sense. Like, once again, Iman's original designs were also very much me not being a person that designs cities for a living.
What do you mean, Matt?
I'm
You're
just
not
making
an
stuff.
architect.
He just made it aesthetically beautiful.
No, I'm not. And-
He didn't actually
and so
make, like,
part
if
of
you
the fun,
you
know,
need to survive.
collaboration is working with people who have a little more understanding or research deeper into some of these facets, and considering like both the Skyport presentation and the heavy docks of Amman, wanting to make sure that the you know, the center of the city, the power seat of the city, and the palace being something that is a little more central and closer to the dock area, it would make a little more sense, both for like a trade standpoint and just as a visual beacon that leads people almost like a lighthouse to the city during the day from port. And, like, it was just a lot of cool discussions. That's kind of
Yeah,
expanded
things you
the
don't think
capabilities that I've
about,
done a
things
while
you
back.
wouldn't
Much
know.
cooler.
Just being
I
a
feel like
Matt
at
Mercer.
some point there has to be some sort of like Matt just sits down and rambles about the decisions and the process behind
Like,
it.
I notice reacting to shows, how often I infuse my knowledge of construction and building and stuff like that. I'll be like, you can't do that.
Thought behind it that maybe we've seen him on for a brief second. We won't understand just from seeing one spire that you wanted it to be a beacon or a lighthouse. You know, just things like that I feel like really add to the world.
I will say, I'm very thankful that we have the design team on this that we do, because every single time they've ever come to me with a facet of the world, they've come already from a place of loving the world.
I would imagine that
researching
everyone's
the
got to
things
be a
that are knowing
fan
it already very
for
well,
the most
and already
part.
having
Some people might
theorized
just have a
of
job.
wanting to bring it to life, that I've had honestly very few notes, and it's more just like,
I feel like
this is
even
how can we
getting
make it
into
better?
that
Like,
field,
there's-
though, you just have to
there's
love
been
it.
a point where it's like, no, this is all wrong. Stop. Like,
true.
like they've all been fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels weird because you're ready to go in and fight, but then you're like, no, this is actually really cool.
I think it was you that
I mean, if
tweeted
that is true, which I
tweeted
believe it is, that would be
pictures
great.
said,
I love to get other
like,
people's
like,
opinions and point of
where we
views,
started, where
as
we
long
are
as it's
now,
not
and it was, like,
aggressive
a
and
picture
forced.
of your map from campaign 1, and then like a screen cap of the moment in the show.
They even kept a circular carpet.
Oh yeah, yeah, with the miniatures.
Briar
yeah,
Oak
yeah, yeah.
Wall
Like,
versus
with
the
that,
two
yeah.
pictures.
What
Yeah,
does
those are
that
cool.
feel like? Like
Crazy.
Like, is that insane?
I can't.
Crazy.
Man. but once again, like that's the care that these people put into the project.
Yeah.
You know, there's only so much our passion can go if the rest of the people that actually execute and bring this thing to life don't have the same
Yeah.
level of passion.
Like, where are you going to go?
Across the board.
5 or 6
Everybody
you're
like
just
that.
like, this is the greatest thing ever, and
But
no one else
after the production, in
cares.
fact, I worked
Then
on this,
you're
every
going
person
nowhere.
I've had a conversation with that has been a part of this has been as excited as we are, and that comes through in the final episodes. Like, I've never been part of something that was this large in scale, but also like universally just positive and excited.
Yeah.
I don't know how to break this to you, but you're universally positive and exciting, and everything that you
True.
guys do is
True
wholesome
statement.
and wonderful, and you feel the passion. So it's not a surprise that everybody you've worked with has felt that passion and been infected by it.
I feel like she's got an outfit
I'm
very
gonna
much like a
have another
pirate
heavy sip
woman.
of this nondescript, totally not
Drinking a
light
cup.
beverage.
Yep.
All right, guys, they break this down into episodes, which makes it more convenient for me to just break them down into episodes as well. That way we could talk about what we just saw. It's not quite what I thought, but maybe better. I thought it was going to be a Q&A, like they were going to watch episode 1 with us. And it was going to be like how I do my things, where I do the watch along and I chop it up, I edit it up, and then we talk after. I thought they were going to actually react to it. They were going to chop up some scenes and then maybe pause or after speak of those scenes. They basically just watched the episode and then it skipped like 30 minutes ahead and they're like, all right, now let's talk about it. So we don't see any reactions at all from them as far as them actually physically watching the episode. But it might be better in the sense that there's no distraction. They just watched it in full. They understand what they're talking about. And now we could just do Q&As and not have to pause, unpause. Maybe it's better this way. I was thinking we were going to see their physical reactions to it though. But maybe they've already seen so much of it and basically lived it that it's not going to be as entertaining to watch a reaction by these people at least, because even if it's changed up or things are slightly altered or anything, they literally lived this for hours and hours and hours and hours. Even if you change things up, all of them have been part of the making of this in some aspect or another. So I'm sure they've already seen it and things like that. Maybe not in full, maybe not in a one sit down, one sitting, just like watch it all together. But either way, it doesn't matter because the way they're doing it is a Q&A after, and the Q&A isn't even really based on specific things occurring, at least in episode 1. It's based more on how did all this come about? Like, how did you feel day one of the making of this show? And then they got into Amon and stuff. That was interesting. I didn't know about that, but that actually makes a lot of sense. He's saying, I'm trying to build a world that you want to live in, aesthetically beautiful, crazy things, unique things, things that you are interested in and want to dive deeper into. He's not coming from the perspective of an architect, like you got to build the castle closer to the docks. Even things like fire departments and police stations and stuff like that. Obviously in this world there aren't things like that, but you know what I mean? Like you'd have to worry about every building's position based on how it would make sense in an actual functioning town. So the docks are an important thing, where it's located to the castle, so they change things up. But that's interesting that they even dive into that. I enjoy though that Matt was like, I'm totally down with discussing it and everything, and it actually probably makes it more fun because you get different point of views, you get information you wouldn't have known and couldn't have known because of why would you know that? I mean, you could technically know it, but why would you? And now you got professionals giving you advice on why and why not it would make sense to do certain things. Things that are, like I said, out of your control or out of your wheelhouse, let's say. You bring a lot of minds together that are all really good at different things. You could build a hell of a world, and that's what I like. I was saying it during the episode. Since I was in high school, I've built houses. I do demolition, but I'll watch a show or something like that, and they'll do something involving construction, and immediately I'll be like, that totally takes me out of this because none of that is how it would really be done. Like you can't take 2 bags of concrete and build an entire pool or something ridiculous. Like that would be overlooked by somebody that has no knowledge of construction. I'm obviously using weird references, but that's how I felt when he was talking about getting opinions and advice from people that actually know areas that he didn't really even think about or have knowledge of. I also thought it was interesting that we only got the guys. Either that was just coincidence and some of the ladies couldn't make it, or I guess all of the ladies couldn't make it, or maybe next week they're going to do all the ladies. Even if it wasn't intentional, I almost feel like next week it would be smart to have all the ladies, because I remember seeing a lady writer that was a little sassy, had some attitude, but she was a character in herself. She would make sense. We could have Laura, Marissa, Ashley, and the writer girl. Liam is out of this. He's the only dude. Oh, and Talzin. But don't forget, I'm going to watch episode 2 and 3 right after this, and then we're doing the live stream. I don't know how much I'll get edited up before the live stream, which will go right into watching episode 4, 5, and 6 of The Legend of Vox Machina. So we'll see how far we get along, but at some point, all this will be done. You guys let me know what you think. I'm jumping into that. You want to see more of what I do? Full unedited reactions, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, and hundreds of exclusives you'll only see on Patreon. Link in front. If not, comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.